6:24 on Sunday morning, a New York born started yawning. Stacy's first child, no, he's small, he know him now. Baby came out the womb with a gas smile. Say cheese, Dad knew I was heaven sent. Godparents nicknamed me Mr. President. Queen's legend, yeah, that's major. As I met the mayor, chicken newspaper, it's dead. Sincerely. Fast forward to age 8, where this part of the story. These give me so many nights I couldn't sleep, yet it made me so unique. Back hooping in the projects at the time I wasn't good. My cousin, I was 2 of the teams.
So, welcome to the Presidential Essential Podcast, also known as a radio talk show, a platform dedicated to engaging in meaningful conversations with individuals from various walks of life. Here we explore valuable insights on life challenges and the transformative stories that help shape their journeys. Remember, it's nothing political, but everything spiritual. My name is Blessed Branco, President of Branco Brand, and I'm glad to have you join me on this podcast today. I'm your host, Blessed Branco, and today's episode is all about Christmas, the season of giving, the season of joy, giving, and togetherness. But amongst the twinkling light of the festive cheer, many of us face challenges, from managing holiday spending to navigating family dynamics, or even finding comfort during a season that can feel isolated. Join us as we dive into how truly to share the Christmas spirit, support those feeling lonely or emotionally distressed, maintain peace in family gatherings, and approach the holidays with mindfulness and balance. Whether you're celebrating with loved ones or navigating the season on your own, this episode is packed with insights to help you make the most of this special time of the year. So, let's unwrap these topics together. So real quick, we'll talk about our sponsors. We have Iconade here. This is a all vegan, all natural electrolytes, natural drink. It's literally made with coconut water and lemons. You would love this drink. And it's made fresh, organic every day. And even if you order from it, you can go to drinkiconade.com, and literally it will expire in a week. So that's how fresh and organic it is. It's made every day. And also another partner, Branco Brand, which is a men's luxury boutique. Branco Brand, as you notice, I know you guys have heard of Tiffany's in this season, where they have a lot of jewelry. They're known for their iconic baby blue box. Well, Branco Brand is known for our iconic green leather and gold box, which is called the Branco Heaven box. And every jogger set, every item, every luxury item is handcrafted with craftsmanship. And everything has a prestige packaging to it. So this is a perfect gift to give to your husband, to give to a loved one, whether a colleague. And it also has a great message on the inside of the box, which says inspiring a fruitful life. So it's also intertwined with not only building leaders, but serving leaders. And Branco's slogan came not to be served, but to serve. So they are a family luxury brand. So think of it as luxury with a purpose. And I believe for Christmas, they have a 50% sale going on. And it's the highest qualities, meaning, companies, like Gucci and stuff, they may have a high price, but we can guarantee that our clothes is half their price, but twice their quality. Let's get right into episode 6. What are some unique ways to share the Christmas spirit with the community, with your community? Well, let's just dissect this. The best way is you can put some lights outside your house. This is a great way to share the holiday cheer, and not only gets people in the spirit, I believe some, depending on what country or state you're in, some countries have electric incentives, like some electric companies don't even charge you on December because they want to encourage families to get in the Christmas cheer and get in the Christmas spirit. So these are some new, unique ways you can share the Christmas spirit. Another way you can share the Christmas spirit, as the word Christmas has Christ in it, you can be Christ-must, meaning you can serve like Christ. You can go with the intention of, hey, I'm going to try to be present for as much people as I can. Sorry, it sounds like I'm a little bit under the weather, but we're gonna get this episode done, and then I'll go take a nap. All right. Another unique way that we can share the Christmas spirit with your community is also getting involved with your community. Maybe you can serve turkeys. Maybe you can help. There's so many Christmas carols going on. I'm sure you can either participate. For example, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a free Afro gospel concert for a senior home, and I have the aim to do this frequently throughout the year, but I know it's really important that no one would want to not to neglect any walk of life. So also, we're also on TikTok Live. Although I'm looking at this camera right now, this one is the one that's going to be on YouTube. We do have 2 TikTok Live with us watching the Presidential Central Podcast radio talk show as we're going. How can people involve their families in acts of kindness during Christmas? I just mentioned it. You can gather your family, give them the understanding, make them visit, children hospitals like St. Jude's, which is also a charitable partner of Branco Brand. So a portion of their proceeds goes to St. Jude's. And the reason they selected St. Jude's is there's so many kids that are battling cancer, so many kids are in unfortunate situation, but you can actually see the hero in them. You can see the joy on their face. And also imagine if you take your family around them, and then they can see that they can have a sense of grounding and see, wow, I thought, my life was hard with, per se, I lost in a video game, but this kid here has to wake up and hear bad news about his operation and leg, but he still keeps a smile on his face. So I think things like that is a way you can involve your family so they can have a sense of understanding that even within the family, it's not the all and the end, that it's not just about us. Jesus wants to do things bigger than your family. It's also about others. So yeah, that's what I would say. What roles do tradition play in keeping the Christmas spirit alive? So now, everybody has different traditions. Everybody comes from different backgrounds. So it just depends on how you grew up. Back in New York, I used to always go to my cousin's house. Shout out to Teniola Daramola and his wife. They've been married. I believe they just got married last year. but they've been together for like years, so shout out to them. But we always used to go to my cousin's house for Christmas, and pretty much we would eat a lot of Nigerian food. All the age groups would stick to each other. So for example, our parents would be the one talking amongst themselves in the living room. We as teenagers would be in the room, us and the young adults, or we usually watch like NBA Christmas together. We catch up, we support each other, and it was always a great time, great positive energy. And some people have different traditions. Like some people, they like, for example, we open our presents at home and then we went to the party with to our cousins. Some people might open the presents all with their entire family. So it really just depends on the tradition of where you came. And I'm sure there's so many cultures in the world, Chinese, Asian, Jamaican, like so many that I don't even know, but I would love to, hear about it. So, if you're listening to this podcast, please drop in the comments a tradition that you can share with us. I would love to learn. And shout out where you're from, your name, and what country or city you're from, and the tradition that you can share with us that keeps the Christmas spirit alive. The next question. So how can people be more inclusive of different cultures or religious traditions during the holiday season? Now, this is a tricky topic, and I want to answer it politically. No, I'm just kidding. This is a show that's not political. It's everything spiritual. So, how can we be more inclusive? I think the wrong word is not inclusive. I think the word is more of showing love, because showing love is the greatest thing of all. If we don't know how to share love with any religion, any culture that's different than you, then if I say I follow in Jesus, then I missed the point. However, does that mean that on the other side, where someone who has a tradition that doesn't glorify Christ can get me to join their tradition of not glorifying Christ, that would be against my faith? Because for one, it's kind of like me worshiping other idols, and it is written to serve my God, Jesus, him and him alone. So how do you approach this in our generation today, where some people might feel offended by that, or you just let them know, like, I respectfully decline, but I love you. It's kind of like, I hate the sin, but I love you, so you have to let people know that it's not against them. It's the act itself. And sometimes that brings awareness to what they're doing, So I don't think there could be really an inclusion, but I think there can be a involvement of love. And I want to challenge those who claim that they're Christians and they're bashing the Muslims or Jewish people, like, they're wicked. That's not what you're supposed to be loving. You're supposed to be loving. So how can digital tools and social media help in spreading festive cheer? I think so many creatives out there, Christian content creators, a lot of Christmas people making Christmas songs. A singer I knew, Jonathan McReynolds, he released an EP on Christmas. And Latoria, she's like a gospel singer. She released something called, I think, Present Jason. So a lot of people are using social media and digital tools to spread the festive cheer. And I encourage you. So if this is a message to you, if you haven't released, what are you waiting for? Christmas is next week. Release it. Speaking of music release, I just released a song yesterday called Piece of Music. And part of me was not going to release it, but I was like, hey, I know I'm supposed to have the album come out, but at least I can give you guys this gift, so I let that go. What advice can I give? Let's take a turn. So what advice can I give to someone feeling lonely during Christmas? It's a great question. I just met a guy 2 days ago. I asked him, hey, what's your plans for the holiday? He's like, I'm probably just gonna spend it by myself. And you'd be surprised. A lot of people who are gonna spend Christmas alone. And the advice that I can give to you is what I try to do immediately, like for that guy that he said he's going to be alone, is I'm going to get him a Christmas card. It doesn't cost me anything to get a Christmas card. It costs $1 from Dollar Tree or the dollar store. You can literally, that's like more than enough that you can give to someone. I'm so tired of selfish people that they can't even get a card for somebody. No, you don't have to get them a Gucci belt. You don't have to get them a Branco Brand. Well, I would advise you to get them a Branco Brand jogger set. But you can keep it simple. Just the thought that you care. Just the thought that you were thinking of them. To let them know that they're not spending it alone. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get him a card. So my advice I would give to those who are spending Christmas alone, I would say try to find something productive to do that Christmas. If you're working a lot, use that time to rest and sleep. Watch movies, relax. I would even say cook. Go on YouTube. Just make a turkey. Just make something. Or the best thing is focus not on yourself, really try to, go out there, maybe randomly walk on the street and just give people a hug. So, what advice would I give? How can friends and families recognize and support those struggling with an emotional distress during the holidays? Well, a lot of times friends and families don't know, and they can't recognize, those who are struggling with emotional distress during holidays. It can be a tough or touchy subject because there are so many different family dynamics. Some people are your blood, but may not necessarily feel like family. And then there are some people who aren't your blood, but they feel like family, but either they're spending time with their actual family or they're not in the same state as you. So how can friends and family recognize this? I think just continue being a friend, continue being family. Family is like, I'm not seeking to take, but I'm more seeking to give. So naturally you would just ask, how you doing? Hey, what are your plans? If you don't have no plans, let's spend together. Hey man, I'm sending you a postcard, or I'm just sending you $20, lunch on me. There's so many ways that real friends and family can recognize and support those struggling with emotional distress. So I would say, everyone, you never know what someone is going through. So many people I've come across were like going to commit suicide if I had not spoken to them and given them hope. So you gotta just keep going, man. And to those out there that are feeling a bit distressed, I just want to say to you that Jesus loves you. Put all your emotional and distress on his back. He can handle it. No other human can. So don't place it on any other human and think they're going to be able to carry it. And that would be my advice for that. How can self-care be prioritized when the holidays feel overwhelming? Self-care is very essential. You really should be in an environment where you're in an environment where everybody is given. There are no takers, because that's what makes it feel overwhelmed. When everyone is pulling from you and taking from you, that may feel overwhelmed. So what can you do to put yourself or have self-care when you're around a lot of takers? I would say it's hard to do this, but I would say shut off your phone for like an hour or two and just go to a jacuzzi, maybe pray, for the Lord to continue to fill your cup, because he has the unlimited fire to pour. And when you're empty, he can fill it up. Or, I would say just take a breather, go take a nap. That's really the practical steps I can give you as far as that. Volunteering, I will volunteer, and helping others impact mental health during Christmas. It impacts us tremendously. The more we can get our mind off of ourselves and onto others, it's always going to be better. That's why those who have a true encounter with Jesus Christ will always be the greatest humans on earth. Why? Because they're dead to themselves. They literally have chosen to be part of something for the greater good, to be part of something bigger than themselves. That's why I always say, and this is I love that it's Christmas and they don't call it Godmas, because a lot of people say, I trust in God. But do you trust in Jesus Christ? Because God can mean different things to many people, but Christ, he specifically, and he embodies one thing, which is sacrificial love, unconditional love. When you don't deserve it, I still serve. That literally slices through your heart intention. So you imagine someone can say, I trust in God, God did, but they're promoting, divorce. They're promoting having multiple women. They're promoting, killing their brother. And they say, God is God. God is good all the time. But why are they afraid to say Jesus is the greatest? You know why? Because that conviction of Jesus wouldn't kill the brother. The fact if they slice his friend's ear off, he'll actually put it back on them. He'd be like, what else would Jesus do? He would tell you to be faithful to God, not lust over multiple women. That's why a lot of people have a hard time saying, I trust in Jesus. Jesus did. They like saying God did because they have created their own God. Some of them might even actually have some principles of Jesus, but when you follow Jesus, he says, give it your all, not half in, half in. So for example, some people will be like, I believe you shouldn't murder your brother. And these are the same people that will agree and say, but I can have 2 girlfriends, 3 girlfriends, that's fine. See what I'm saying? They only accept half of, so that's why they would still say, I trust in God. Anyways, now, how can people set realistic budgets for holiday spending? I think I was just on a meeting, and if you have credit cards, this is my biggest advice. Do not use your credit cards to spend on gifts. Only if you have the cash, you should use it to spend on people. It should go from, do you have the cash? Did you, you paid your rent this month? Did you pay your utilities and fees and stuff like that? You took care of your home? And went fine. Now, out of that, do you have any cash left over? Did you save? Okay, cool. Now you spend the cash. Now, if it starts tapping into your credit cards, don't do it. Don't do it. There's other ways you can get a gift. You can make a card, which it's $1, but let's just say you ran out of cash. You can make a card. You can craft something in your house. You can make food. If you got some ingredients at home, you can actually make food as a sign of something you can give back to somebody as a gift. What are some tips for finding meaningful but affordable gifts? I think the tip, and I really try to get people to understand, is you really got to get out your own way. Shout out to the people on TikTok I just want to give them a quick shout out. They're watching this Presidential Central podcast live. But this camera, we have 2 cameras going. It's the TikTok live, and then we have the YouTube, and it's going to be on YouTube. And it airs every Friday and Sunday. So we do have an episode coming. I try to tell people, when you're trying to find meaningful gifts, you have to get out of your own way and out of your own head. Why do people keep buying gifts for people and just give it to them? I don't think you guys heard me. Why do people just buy gifts and give it to them? Don't get me wrong. There are some gifts that, hey, a box of chocolate, that's fine. You may not. But if you know this person and you just give them a gift, that means you're not really a real friend. If you've been spending time a year, if you know somebody for a year and you never ask them, like, bro, what's your hobbies? And the dude is like a musician. Did you know if you got him a pick for his guitar for Christmas, he would really cherish that gift over a box of chocolate, because you took the intentionality to get to know the person. You took the intentionality to say, what does this person like? What does this person need? That costs $500, $1,000, and they don't even use it every day. When you could have spent $2 on something they actually use every day. And they would, of course, they might, if they're nice, they're going to be like, I appreciate that gift. But trust me, I've learned that the best gift you can give to someone is the intentionality that you made the effort to help them in their everyday life, except for Christmas. Every day should kind of feel like Christmas, not just one day. It should be a season of gift. It should be from the heart. So if I know my friend is a die-hard Lakers fan, I'm going to try to, maybe I'll get him a Lakers jersey. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get him a shirt, a Gucci shirt that costs $500. It's a nice gesture, but what means more? The Laker jersey. So, next one is, how can families create memorable experience without spending too much money? I say it again, and this is to all families. Please, the men in your home or children, your parents per se, they already have enough pressure and of course I hope that they're very smart and financially savvy, but they already have enough pressure. The provider in the home, he already has enough pressure. Be content. Be content. I know you guys are looking at social media like it's only highlights. This is what they're doing. It's just highlights. You can get there one day. but you have to be content with the little. You can find enjoyment with walking in the park. Walking in the park, you know, mom, you grab, you make a couple sandwiches. Dad, you grab some leftover hot dogs, throw them on the grill. Daughter, you make a kite, fly it. Son, you bring, you go freeze some ice and break it into cubes. That's how you guys create real memorable experience without spending too much money. Be content with the little things. Be content with the little things. The big things will come, but you have to be content with the little things. What are some practical ways to avoid financial regret in January? Like I said, as I mentioned before, do not use your credit cards to buy gifts. Do not use your credit cards to buy gifts for people. If you don't have the cash, pass. If you don't have the cash, pass. Simple as that. Are there any cultural shifts towards simpler, less commercialized Christmas celebration? I don't think I'm really seeing a culture shift right now. I think I've seen a culture shift from the 90s to the 2000s. You know, it's a little less about, like, we had a Home Alone era. Like, everybody is in their home just waiting, like, oh my gosh, like, what's under the tree? I'm gonna, you know, we had that era. Shout out to Moo and Lauren, who joined us on TikTok. Thank you so much for your support. We just want to, I know we're on YouTube, but I want to make sure I'm acknowledging we have 276 likes on TikTok right now. Incredible. You know, I feel like it was a simpler time in the 1990s. You know, what's under the Christmas tree? And, you know, dad pretends to be Santa. He puts the stuff on the Christmas tree. He wraps the thing. And I think it's still close to that. But it just feels a little bit more like it's more of a popularity contest. And what I mean by that is who can do Christmas the biggest. Like, that's what I'm kind of seeing the culture shift change to. But my prayer is that it remains, you know, just that anticipation of, you know, Christmas and, you know, opening your presents, but also sharing that time that you don't get to see your family members. That's really what I think the gift of giving. I pray that the culture doesn't shift from that. But I would say the more simple, the better. I think if you want to enhance our culture, we should start doing Christmas with gifts that are less than like $25. Because then I think people can understand the value. Like, okay, the challenge would be, can you make this gift that's under $25 worth more than $25? That's the true test, you know? It's just a thought. What are some common sources of family tension during the holidays, and how can they be avoided from different aspects? You know, unresolved family issues. You know, I've had my own things that are not resolved. I try to resolve them as a believer. I think I'm called to forgive straight away and try to resolve the issue. But if the other person is not willing, or they don't understand the lens from me as a believer of why we should reconcile quickly, it can definitely cause tension during the Christmas time. So it's I would say there really isn't a way to avoid it, But I would say whether you're on the receiving end or you're the one who's been offended, I would say this Christmas is, remember, Christ is in the Christmas, and it is written that he forgave you. So if you don't forgive others, he can't forgive you. So just remember that if you choose, like I said, it's an opportunity for you to choose Jesus. It's your choice. We just present it to you. But if you decide to be all in with Jesus Christ, you have to know that you have kind of no choice but to forgive for your own sake, because it's not good for your soul, it's not good for your heart, it's not good for your mind to hold on to that. Now, is there a way to avoid it? The tension? I would say no, depending on the different dynamics of what you're facing with. You might face family members who are a little bit more aggressive. You might face family members that are more of silent treatment. It's all different, but I think the thing remains is try to make sure you're on the right side of history, which is Jesus' side, and then through that example, by the grace of God, they will also be on Jesus' side, and then you'll reconcile. Hopefully, it's not like a 5-year or 10-year theme, but that'll be sooner than expected. That's my prayer for you. Pray the same for me. I definitely have those types of relationships, but I can confidently say I've also initiated as a believer of already forgiving them, already having the heart and awareness to reconciliate. I'm not just here saying, never. I ain't gonna even talk to him. I ain't gonna be in a room with him, or I'm be in a room with her, or I'm never gonna talk to her again. I mean, nah, I don't even try to put myself to think that way anymore. How can families set healthy boundaries while celebrating together? I think this is going to come from conflict. A lot of people think because there's conflict, that means, it's failure. No, conflict actually gives us an opportunity to embrace and talk about our fears and, to build with a legit relationship. So you're going to have to go through some type of conflict, unless the person is a really good communicator. You can kind of give them, what you are not comfortable with, what you are comfortable with, and they will listen because it's out of respect and normal love. But some people, it takes a little longer. They have to go through some conflict for them to get your boundaries. What are some practical tips for navigating differences in tradition, belief or opinions within a family? Practical steps for navigating differences in tradition. I would just say everybody respecting and knowing who you are. If you know you are a believer, stand on that. If you believe Satan, then stand on that. At the end of the day, you should just be bold in who you are, but also having the respect that I don't have to be forced to do what you're actually telling me to do. Like I said, love is not commanded. True love is not commanded. So which is Christ, right? So you shouldn't be forcing Christ on anyone. You should give them an opportunity to choose for themselves. How communication improve to prevent misunderstandings during family gatherings? I would say it's very hard because a lot of people are working throughout the whole year. That's like the only time they see their family and they catch up and stuff like that. They talk. It's how can communication be improved? Honestly, I think just maybe making a group chat with your family, sharing things time to time. I think this is a way to improve. Also, I think families should adapt a monthly check-in, like on Zoom. I think that would be phenomenal for the country. The best families in the world actually have something like this where they have maybe a daily 6 p.m. prayer line. I think that's the best way to improve communications, to prevent misunderstandings, and encourage unity with family gatherings. What role does forgiveness and letting go of past grievance play in fostering harmony during Christmas? A lot. Don't just forgive because it sounds good. Forgive for two reasons. Because if you don't forgive, your Heavenly Father will not forgive you. And the second reason is you're forgiving because it's good for your soul, it's good for your body, it's good for your mind to release, to let go. Because you holding on to it is like poison. It would, imagine if your heart was clear, it turns black like the Iconade bottle. Of course, we want you to drink this. This is actually organic, but I'm saying in a reference of your heart will be black if you don't forgive. So you want it to be looking clear like water. So, how can families ensure that everyone feels included and valued in the holiday plans? This is very, very hard to do. It takes a very special family to be able to value all different personalities. I would say, and I'm just gonna say it straight, we have to encourage male figures in the home. You'd be surprised. I've seen so many homes. They have Christmas events, and there are no males. There are no husbands at all. That's not a good sign. That shows that this is a place normally of no discipline, lack of discipline, lack of actual, the oil flows from the man unto the woman, unto the kids. We got to do better as a society. If you're a strong womanhood actually is the basis of strong manhood. If there's no strong manhood, most of the time it's terrible womanhood. So I think this is a way to ensure that everyone feels included, because I think a man can regulate his emotions better. I'm not saying that they're not also emotional, but I think they can regulate emotions better and make a better decision for the entire. He should do it alongside his wife. He can't do it without his wife, nor can the wife do it without the husband. I think them as one is an amazing way to ensure that everyone feels included and valued in the holiday plans. What strategies can I say to use to handle difficult conversations and unresolved conflicts at Christmas? Strategies can be, as person is speaking, you cannot interrupt. I would say you're not even allowed to get defensive. In fact, the first thing that has to come out of your mouth, you let them speak for 1 minute, you don't get defensive. And then the second thing is you would say, what would you think I should have done that would have made you feel better in that moment? That's all you get to say. And just like that, many family issues will be resolved on the spot. How can families get involved in a neutral activity like games and movies to shift the focus on potential disagreements? I think for me, I would say the more activities during Christmas, the better. Just getting the family to enjoy, have games, play charades, play spades, play Monopoly, play cards, play, tic-tac-toe, play checkers, chess, everything. Maybe scavenger hunt, who can decorate the Christmas tree faster, Secret Santa. Like, there's so many different games that I would say, if like, my dream Christmas would be to have the whole family up in the chalet, which is like in Belgium. It's like a cabin in the middle of the snow, and like for a 3-day weekend, and we would just have a bunch of activities and things to do for those 3 days. Like, to the point, it's almost like going on a vacation. Like, you really barely get to sleep. Like, you'll be so tired by the time it's time for you to, like, there's going to be something from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. That's all you're going to want to do is, when you get to your hotel room or cabin, you're just going to want to sleep. And then you're back at it the next day. Like, snowboarding, like, all different cool things. That would be like my dream Christmas thing, to have the family go up there. And we would do that soon. But I guess I got there are ways to plan celebrations that reduce stress for hosts and attendees alike. This has to be done before Christmas. So the more you plan, my uncle used to say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So that's it. Simple as that. How can families create a positive environment that prioritizes joy, togetherness over perfection? It sounds like we're not understanding the essence of servanthood. And I say this all the time, and people actually, they try to fight it until you ask them, like, how this situation has been going. How has anything else worked? And most of the time the answer is no. We're back at what I'm about to say. 92% of all world problems stem from a father not being present in the home. So when a father's not present in the home, a lot of chaos can happen. Not because I'm biased, because I'm a male myself. Not because I don't love women. I have a wife. I love my mother. I love my mom-in-law. I love my aunties. I love all of them. I'm saying this is the way how God designed it. It was out of a man came his rib. Woman came from men as a helpmate. Whenever things, it's only the distractions of the world. Like, so we're in a privileged society. That's why it's very hard for people to not understand their roles. If the world was ending tomorrow, you'll see very quickly, like, if everyone was deserted on an island, you'll see very quickly all the men would gather and they'll be trying to get the meat, kill it, and hunt the deers for meat. And you would see the women just all there trying to take care of the kids, or they'll be trying to maybe make sure the fire is getting started here or whatever. That's what I'm saying, guys. That's how we can really create a positive environment. Celebrate your man that is in that house. Celebrate him. Celebrate him in that home. Wives, celebrate your husbands. Appreciate him daily. He goes out on the bat and fights for you. Now, if you're a man that you're just messing with multiple women, you deserve not to be celebrated. And that's just real talk. Eventually it's going to catch up with you, but you need to repent and run to Jesus. That would be my advice before it's too late. Now, like I said, families, this is how we can prioritize joy and togetherness over perfection. Sometimes people don't want to do it. the hearing this, but are you going to actually apply it is the question. How many people are combating? How many women are trying to step up and be the males of their home? How many males are stepping down and into feminine roles? How many? We cannot think that reversing the role is gonna all of a sudden make nature work. God didn't design it that way. It's kind of like me trying to make a bird swim in the water. I'm forcing him to swim in the water. He may not open his wings, and you may think, oh, he's comfortable by the water, but he's not gonna be really flourishing in his natural state because he's meant to fly. And when you try to make men like women, it's kind of like trying to make a fish that's supposed to be in the water to fly. You just keep throwing men in the air and he's just coming in like this. You just keep throwing in the man and he's coming like this. He's just like, I want to be in the water, man. That's my environment. That's my role. Let me swim. You gotta stop, because the more you don't allow the fish to be in his environment and swim, he will shrivel out and die from lack of oxygen, a lack of water, because he's not meant to be in that role. He's not meant to be a bird flying. He's meant to be a fish swimming. So yeah, I just want to talk about my new single release, surprise release called Piece of Music, and my future project, Jesus is My Composer. I want to invite you listeners to the next episode, and make sure you subscribe to all the Presidential Essential podcasts. We're on Instagram, Twitter, which is now known as X, and also on the Blessed Branco YouTube channel. God bless you, and we thank you for joining us on the Presidential Essential podcast radio talk show. We love you all. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and remember, Jesus is the reason for the season. He was born in a manger. He's the King of all kings, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. Make sure you acknowledge him this Christmas and make every day Christmas, which means Christ must. So mas is like it's a Spanish word for more, right? Make sure Christ is must every day in your life, pretty much. Love you all. God bless you. Number my grandma called.
6:24 on Sunday morning, a New York born started yawning. Casey's first child, no he's smoking open mouth. Baby came out the womb with a gap smile. Say cheese, Dad knew I was heaven sent. Godparents nicknamed me Mr.President. Queen's legend, yeah, that's major. As I met the mayor, chicken newspaper, it's dead sincere.